Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the starroadpodcast. A very special episode, actually, Tyler, because we had a lot of shit going on.
We're marking an arrival of something that has been a long time coming.
We are. I mean, I don't know if you want to hold on to that.
It'll be in the one of the titles, I'm sure. So we can get it out of the way.
Yeah, I got my Steam Deck.
About time. What took you so long?
I don't know, man. I tell you what. Last episode, though, you said
that was big brain.
It was so funny because you were like, "Oh man, it's got to be any day now." Next day, I wake up.
Next day, because we record
Your Steam
on Sundays.
Deck is ready.
We record on Sundays, and they always send out the emails on Monday.
And this beauty arrives.
It's real.
And it's been amazing. And we're going to do a lot of talking today about it.
Yeah, we'll get into it. We'll talk about all aspects of it. We're going to do a full review now that I've had mine for a couple months. Sterling's had his for a couple weeks, but has probably got a couple months worth of average person gaming in on it in that couple weeks.
I've gotten a good bit in, but I'll tell you what, some of the releases we're talking about in the news today
are not on Steam.
Are not on Steam and have definitely
also taken some time, yeah.
Absolutely.
Too much excitement for us these days, man.
It's a lot. But today's discussion, we are going to be reviewing the Steam Deck. Tyler and I, we got the same model, the 256.
Yep.
Cozy in the middle.
Yep.
Kind of glad we did because it seems like those times, the expected availability on the higher
end. On the 512, yeah.
Oh, man. They're talking...
You would not have yours yet, nor I might not even have mine yet.
Yeah. And also, same thing for the 64.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I feel like I was happy to go middle of the road, but we'll get into all this. We'll talk more in depth about the process and everything with the review.
Yeah, we're also doing a collaborative top 10 on just Steam Deck games so far. Games on the deck.
Purely opinionated, not meant to be authoritative this time. But
no, and it's definitely not based off of performance. A lot of mine, you know, some of it is novelty because we're going to get into it. This is a lot of games we've never had handheld, very handheld. We're going to get into it.
Yep.
But how about we start the news off with some sports talk, Tyler? I mean, we always have to do it. Sports has been kind of not professional sports, but gaming sports.
Mario sports,
Nintendo sports, you know. Big part of the podcast, so I think it's only appropriate that we get into some of that.
Let's do it.
So we got updates on more than one of these games, Tyler. The first being Mario Strikers Battle League. FC Star Road.
We've been slacking on this game.
We have, but to see an update like this, it's the type of thing that, you know, the game might come and go. This type of shit pulls you back on.
Yep.
Because we got two characters. Just first off, we got Daisy and Shy Guy. Everybody was bitching about where's Daisy. That was like a meme at this point. So here comes Daisy, and Shy Guy is always welcome on the sports titles. I mean, that goes without saying.
Shy Guy's stats actually fit in with my play style very well, so I could see myself utilizing him quite a lot.
Yeah, I could see Shy Guy being kind of similar to Boo.
Well, like in other games, yeah, like, but in this game, Waluigi, definitely like the high technique, like good, and then good all around build. That's where I'm at for sure. So happy to see another character in that style. Happy
to see characters. That's definitely the thing. I'm looking forward to trying out Daisy as a swap out for our Peach or Rosalina. See how it goes.
Definitely.
We also got the Desert Ruin Stadium added.
This looks nice.
Definitely. They're always, I mean, I expect the content they come out with as far as cosmetic for the game to look better after the game's launch, because I feel like, you know, they've got a little bit of free time. They're not crunching for a release. They're probably putting a little extra effort into whatever post-game content comes out, if I had to guess.
Certainly when it comes to Super Rush, we saw some of the best courses, I would say most of the best courses, as these free updates.
Yeah, we were talking about the character thing, and I think we did get like Wiggler
And Shy Guy.
and King Babam, or did we start off with King Babam?
I don't remember, but I feel like we got 2 waves of 2 characters, maybe. Mm-hmm. And I could see the same thing happening, at least, hopefully more. In golf, you're only 1 character at a time. In Battle League, you're 4 characters at a time. So you would want to see more characters available. If you had a cast even resembling the size of Mario Kart 8, excluding other franchises, even, I would be immensely happy with that, because now, you certainly do run into 4v4 of very similar characters quite often in this game. Just
it's
because
something that it's been mentioned by people I've seen. Yeah,
the pool is pretty limited. But adding 2 characters certainly helps, and any more, obviously, it's going to be increasing returns in that way.
I think this almost guarantees that we'll see more.
I hope so.
They came pretty quickly with this one, so.
Yep.
We also got the night gear set. Always cool to see a gear set.
And this was what you wanted, more like different distribution of pluses and minuses and different attributes.
Exactly. So the more gear sets they release, the more versatile the builds are going to be. That's just going to enhance the gameplay.
Yep.
Because, like I said, there was a lot of pluses and minuses I would have liked to have seen. They come out with gear sets every now and then with the update. They're going to eventually go full circle and have every possible combination tailored to your needs.
For every character, yeah.
There's a lot of other patch notes on that. We don't have to go through all of that, but they did make some, adjustments to the game, as they tend to do for most games.
Balancing changes and stuff like that.
Yeah, so definitely looking forward to playing some more of that.
Yeah, that's going to happen soon. We already talked about it.
Definitely. Switch Sports, Nintendo Switch Sports 1.2.0 is now live. Now, I play Nintendo Switch Sports a lot, my brother.
Almost every day, or at least for a while.
Yep, bowling every day, whether it be solo. Most of the time, me and my girl play. Unlocking the items every week. The newest one is it's like a soccer ball set, and you literally have a skin where you're a soccer ball. It kind of looks like Ball Guy from Pokemon.
Nice.
From Sword and Shield. But this update, it came with a couple things. Now, one thing it came with, for the soccer, you can now play online using the leg strap. That wasn't a thing before.
Yeah, I did hear about that, yeah.
And I feel terrible because I have 2 leg straps, one that came with Ring Fit, and one that came with my box copy of this. Still haven't tried the soccer with the leg strap.
I need to know how it actually works. I'm going to need you to try that out for science.
Yeah, I am definitely going to try that out. I meant to before. I'll tell you what, though. Ring Fit is a good indicator of this being pretty successful, because Ring Fit operates so well. I know that's got the ring, but it does have the leg strap also, and it's a big part of the game. So
yeah.
If it's as responsive on here, which I assume it would be, that should be pretty interesting.
Yeah, be interested to hear about that.
A lot more friendly additions here as far as playing with friends, like queuing up with each other.
Which is something we lamented about before.
I think they might have made a few solutions here that make it a bit easier.
Awesome. That's one of the things, sorry to interrupt, that's one of the things that's actually kept me from playing the game is you can't queue ranked together. So, like, I can't get in a queue with you ranked, or I couldn't before. It would just be us versus computers.
Yeah, but now you can actually make a room with an ID, and you can just go put the ID in.
Sounds nice.
So that way, and it also, you don't have to be friends. I think you could play with people who aren't your friends, anyone who has the room code, the ID. The only other thing was they added S rank and infinite rank, or infinity rank is what they're referring to. So now I've been sitting at gold A, for a while. Time to push it forward and get my S and my infinity on bowling.
For the ultimate flex.
Yeah, it's so funny. I haven't done any runs really since I was doing the runs. I kind of been playing casually.
Be interested to see. I know you were probably what you're getting into here. The physics update.
Yep. So I'm going to be working on infinity rank is all that was. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I have other goals as far as the bowling goes, speed run times, if I decide to do some runs anytime soon. Bowling got a bit of a patch here, adjusted how the pins fall. So apparently it's now slightly harder for the pins to fall when bowling straight, but slightly easier for the pins to fall when bowling with the curve.
Interesting.
Now, when I was doing the runs towards the end, when I got the time, a couple people have been making some waves. I'm sitting at 6th now. Still ahead of Shockwave, but just 2 slots lower,
Mm-hmm.
But a couple people have come in with the same approach I had, the setup-less, just where you're standing, perfect amount of hook, do that 9 times and gut it twice, basically, right? So I got used to hooking into the pocket. So honestly, I think that this update might have even been in my favor.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yesterday my girl and I were playing, and a couple times I thought I was about to throw a 300. And I think that's because I got so used to putting hook on my ball, and
it's gonna. That's good because that update, it kind of rewards the more skill intensive strategy, and that's what you want.
Totally. Instead of going straight at the pocket, with no adjustment, you just.
That's what I do.
Which is the average approach, but now this kind of makes you implement the hook, and you don't have to be hooking all the way from the left side of the lane over to the right and pocketing. It doesn't want you to imitate pro bowling, but at the same time, if you throw any type of hook on it, they're making it to where
that rewards you.
Yeah, but
nice.
I like the fact that it's not like it's a big noticeable thing. It's not like, bowling's ruined, the physics are totally different or anything like that.
No,
I got back on
I
and
think it's a good change.
Yeah, I was having a great time with it. Definitely be interested to do some runs, see if the patch might even be in my favor. Who knows? I might even get some better times just off of the pin action I get from the hooking.
Yeah, I would believe that.
And then, like I said, for the other one, there's some other patch notes on here. Feel free to go through them. But it's just nice to see free updates for these games. And Switch Sports in specific, we're waiting on our golf update. So seeing them come out with an update is very optimistic. We're going to be seeing our golf one this year.
Yep. I did run through and get my Waluigi costume. Today is the very last day to do that.
As did I, and I'm very happy that I've done so because it was so nice seeing Waluigi pop on the screen and thinking about the things you take for granted. These classic outfits.
Yeah.
I could see somebody being like, what's so special about it?
Totally.
What's the big deal? But at the same time, if it's not available to select, then it's a big deal. So, it'd be cool. We'll be seeing, I guess, in the next 3-4 days what the next month's is.
Tomorrow should be.
Yeah, I think they usually have I don't know if they do it right at the rollover.
Oh no, I thought they did.
I guess we'll see. But anyway, glad
we'll
we
have
got
that on the next podcast for sure. And probably since we're going to log in and check, we'll probably just go ahead and get it. To be honest, I don't want to wait until the last minute again.
Yeah, I don't want to do that either. But keeping the sports rolling, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. We've been waiting on Wave 2.
Finally got it announced.
Finally got it.
Out of the blue the other day.
I was expecting this any minute, to be honest with you.
There was a lot of talk about this swirling around E3 time, or what would have been E3 time, that they were going to announce more for this during their direct, or that never really happened. So happy to finally get some updates on this. We kind of been wondering where the next round was going to be.
Yeah, and it looks like August 4th is that date. Yep. So four days from today.
Very excited for that.
So we got 2 more cups as promised, Tyler.
Yep. Do you have the course list?
I sure do. So we got the Turnip Cup,
mm-hmm.
New York Minute from Tour. Yep. Not familiar with the stage. Haven't played
nice,
Tour a whole
from
lot.
The trailer.
Definitely. All of them look fantastic. Super Nintendo, Mario Circuit 3. Love
to see this one.
Always going to love the colored block Super Nintendo reworks.
Love, just so now good.
This next one is very special to this podcast and to us. Waluigi Pinball from DS.
I knew you were going to pop off when you saw this.
anything from DS. I've said it before.
But this level is a standout from within that game. Like
it's iconic. Yes,
I'm familiar with it, and I never actually owned the game.
I have spent countless time on this course, and I'm glad to see it back. The next one is, we could say the same for both of us, and is even more of a pop-off, Calamari Desert from N64.
This was the one from this announcement that had me the most hype.
Yeah, you literally texted Calamari Desert along with the hype.
All it needs to be said.
I mean, 64 courses, this looks great.
Now, there's something interesting I want to point out about this next cup when you go through it. I'm sure you know what it is. Or if you've watched the video, one of the courses is going to be in the booster pass before, like for the first time. It's a tour level, but it's going to be in 8 before it's in tour.
Oh. I think I know which one you're talking about, but
okay. Is there 2 tour levels in this last 4?
No, there's not.
Okay, so whichever one is the only one from
I know
tour.
the first one we're starting off with is the one you're talking about, and that's Sydney Sprint from tour.
Yeah. So that's going to be in the booster pass before it ever sees. So we're basically going to get the debut of this course as part of this DLC. They called that out. They called that out in the trailer. It was. They said like it's a tour level, but it's going to be added later.
No shit. Well, it says I'm looking here on Nintendo's official website. It's saying that it originated in Mario Kart Tour. So I assumed if they say originated, it already happened.
Maybe I read it wrong in the trailer. I just remember in the trailer they were like, it's debuting later in tour. I don't know.
No shit.
We'll have to double check
Either way,
on that.
this looks like a Mario Sunshine course. Mm-hmm. So that's a big thing in itself. I really like the vibe of this one. GBA Snowland.
Oh yeah.
Anything from Super Circuit, man, I'm loving.
Yep.
So just give us anything from Super Circuit. Snowland's a great pick. We already got I can't feel like an idiot for not remember the sky one. I feel like such an idiot for not remembering.
The cloud one. Right.
That was like it's like my favorite course from
it's beautiful.
Super Circuit. I can't believe I'm not thinking of it. Anyway, continuing on the list, Mushroom Gorge from Wii. This one is loved by many.
Yeah, I am hyped for this one.
I mean, I haven't played Mario Kart Wii, and I know all about this course. I've been through it, watching it in video-related content multiple times.
Yep.
Shout out to Summoning Salt.
Yep, I'm excited to finally play it because we know it's a great course. We know it's a great course.
Absolutely. This Sky High Sunday is the one they're debuting.
Okay.
By the way.
All right.
And it's actually a pretty cool looking course.
That's what it was. Yeah, the Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah. They go through with this, this Kirby sweets everywhere type of thing, and usually it's successful. They've done it in Mario Kart before.
Yeah, I was pretty hyped to see that. So that course is debuting as part of this DLC.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. I knew I wasn't crazy.
You were not crazy.
So that's cool. We're getting a brand new course as part of this DLC.
I don't think this is the last time they're going to do that either.
No, man. I'm so serious. I really feel like this is backfilling the course list for the next installment of Mario Kart. Like, if you have this DLC, whenever they come out with the next game, you're already going to have access to these courses for having it. It feels so transparent to me that that's what's going on. Either that or they're not planning on making another Mario Kart for a very long time, which I hope is not the case.
I could see Mario Kart itself turning into some type of monthly subscription thing like World of Warcraft.
Do you think they just merge it with Tour and they make it into one massive thing?
I don't even know, dude. I mean, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is becoming such a monster. It's just really hard to just move on from it.
It's really weird. It's really weird that they... Yeah.
Almost more so than with Smash Ultimate. Because this came out way before Smash Ultimate, but its lifespan of content, we've still got 2 years left of content for it.
Yep.
So we're almost guaranteed to not get a new Mario Kart in the next 2 years.
I think what's going to happen is towards the end of these releases is when we're going to see them start talking about another game, and they're going to just also throw in, oh, everything from the booster pass is included with this game from the start if you have it.
It's interesting. I wonder if it would be for Switch. It makes you wonder what the form factor is going to be for their distribution.
I think it'll be the next iteration of the console before we see another kart game.
Yeah, you just have to wonder what that iteration is going to be. The Switch is so wildly popular, and
I don't think that they're going to move away from their current infrastructure of the online for very long, because they're building everything into this Switch Online library. So they're not going to just build up this entire ecosystem and then just flush it the next console. I think everything that they're doing is going to integrate into the next iteration, just like Sony's done, just like Microsoft has done. Everything that's PS4, everything that's Xbox One integrates pretty well with PS5 and Series X, and I see Nintendo doing the same thing. Whether it's the Switch 2, whether it's the swap, whether it's the something totally different we've never even thought of that's going to blow our mind, and they brought Reggie in to, lead the charge on the next thing. It's going to have some special mechanic, and the next Mario Kart's going to be the first way that they show that off.
I love when you talk because it usually brings my brain to places it might not have gone. But you got to wonder.
I think about this stuff a lot.
You got to wonder if the Steam Deck and Nintendo would ever make this Star Road other dimensional merge of some sort, like a Game Pass, Nintendo Game Pass on Steam Deck. Just because we're talking different here, right? Because we're kind of like in a handheld market. Now, they haven't done anything like this. I feel like Nintendo's I'm just speculating, but Nintendo's always been like, if you want to play our games, you're going to purchase our hardware.
I don't see that changing anytime soon.
I don't see that changing either. Of course, I'm just sitting here. What if, it's interesting talk. But at the end of the day, I don't see them making it to where you can play their games without
the hardware.
But at the same time, things do exist like Mario Kart Tour and Super Mario Run.
That's different, though. I
know it's mobile games, but
we haven't really seen much on non-Nintendo hardware from Nintendo IPs. Is the new Rabbids game going to be on other systems?
I wondered the same thing since it's Ubisoft.
I can't remember. I'm sure that we can look it up, but I don't actually remember. I feel like it is. I feel like I saw that it was going to be on Xbox, but maybe not.
Wouldn't shock me, but just seeing Mario in a game on Xbox is weird.
It is weird, but maybe not. I don't know. I don't see it, but I agree with you.
It's only weird because we haven't seen it. That's the thing about it. It's not like inherently weird.
I do see the Game Pass, like the Xbox Game Pass, being fully integrated onto Steam Deck at some point. That I could see. Or maybe not integrated, but it's not really playable right now. So I could see them finding a way to support it.
And honestly, if you could just pay for the Game Pass and just, have access to those games on the deck, which seems to be where we're either at and I'm not aware of it, or where we're going pretty soon.
I don't think Game Pass really works on Steam Deck right now in the same way that it does on PC.
That'd be nice if it did, though. What I mean is it might entice me to purchase the service,
Definitely. For sure, yeah. I was already somewhat enticed when they added Age of Empires 4, but I went ahead and just bought that separately.
Yeah, Age of Empires 4, man. You been enjoying that?
I haven't played it too much since we last talked about it, but it's really nice. It's like they took a look instead of a totally new mechanical game like they did with 3. They said, okay, let's take what is good about 2, make it better, fix some of the things that aren't great, and there we go, and modernize it. And that's what 4 is. It's really a lot like 2, which is good because 2 is like, I mean,
it is good.
It's been a competitively viable game for 20 plus years, 23 years, 22 years. So
yeah,
that's pretty serious.
We've got, I'm glad you've been enjoying it. I'm glad to hear it's true to 2 and it kind of, because if I enjoyed 2, so I mean,
yeah,
I'd
you
probably
would
just
feel
get a
right at
fresh
home
coat of
on
paint
4.
it.
You would feel right at home on 4. I think you would. Playing something like Civ, which I know you've been into, and playing 2 in the past, you would pick it up immediately.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to see what's up with that, especially with the deck. The cat's out the bag, bro. We both got the decks.
I don't know. I haven't tried playing 4 on the deck much. It would take some getting used to feel like I could do it well.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that with the mouse controls and whatnot.
It's pretty tough. But you would just have to get used to it.
Yeah, we have a collection coming out that I'm wondering if you're as interested in this as I am. But the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Cowabunga collection.
I remember loving the arcade TMNT games. I'm assuming that's what's in this. That and like the Super Nintendo stuff.
13 titles in this.
Oh wow. So I love those beat 'em up games, but I don't. How much is the collection? Do we have a price on it?
I didn't get a price down, but I could look for that here for you.
No, it's fine. I was just saying I don't know if I'd be willing to pay much for it just because I don't see myself finding the time. Unfortunately, it is cool that this is available though. These games are beloved.
On the fly, I would say it's probably going to be like 40, just if I had to take a guess.
That's probably about 25 more than I would be likely to pay. But that's in line with some of these Mega Man collections that you see that have that many games in it. Yeah,
but they got some very interesting stuff in here. One of them, Tournament Fighters. That's a very rare NES game. And it's basically like a Ninja Turtles Mortal Kombat situation.
Cool.
You know, like a TMNT fighting game.
Heads-up fighting game, yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
So they have Tournament Fighters for NES, Sega Genesis, and Super Nintendo. I don't know how rare they are on other systems. I think it might be a later game in the NES's life cycle.
Makes
for
sense.
Sure. 93. But also Turtles in Time. I mean, that's a Super Nintendo classic. One of my favorites of all time, man. Great to see that on there.
Yeah, I know. I feel like you'd pick this up just for that.
Problem is, we'll be talking about the Steam Deck pretty soon. And there's another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game that's really got my attention. That's Shredder's Revenge. I really feel like that's going to be the next game I pick up. I'm glad that I was waiting. I was like, I'm going to see what kind of sale comes up, whatever on the eShop. But then my Steam Deck came in. That's probably going to be the first game I purchase after the deck came in. Is going to be Shredder's Revenge because that looks like a fantastic.
So you haven't done a bunch of game purchasing on the deck yet. You've been trying to play what you have.
Haven't purchased a single thing since I got my Steam Deck, and that speaks a lot to us having these libraries available already.
Yeah,
just
totally. That's a testament to the Steam Deck and how good it is. Because I haven't bought. I mean, I've had it for 2-3 months, and I have not bought more than a small handful of games in that time.
Haven't bought a single game, man. Haven't even gotten to go through and play everything I wanted to play on. I've got like almost 200 games, so it's,
Yeah.
We're gonna get into that though. It's a lot. It's very interesting going through your library and launching things. But we had also an announcement for the NES Online, Super Nintendo Online. A couple games added and a very friendly face involved in that. Being Kirby's Avalanche from the Super Nintendo is now on the Switch Online. Now, this game really reminds me of Wario's Woods. I haven't played it before, but looking at the presentation, the graphics, it really reminds me of Wario's Woods on Super Nintendo. And that hits me hard. Fighter's History. This looks like a Data East fighter, like an old Street Fighter. I mean, I'm with it. Any of these old Street Fighter type games, I'm a sucker for. I like fighting games, so welcome to the online catalog. The next one, this is a Japanese game. I like when they add these Japanese games.
Yeah.
But this is Daya Story 6, Imperial of, I'm not going to pronounce it right, Nersartia. I'm sure it's Nersartia. But this looks like a very interesting game, kind of like a side-scroller shooter. I'm into the graphical aesthetic of it. Looks like a Famicom original in Japan. We love it. We're going to get better about covering these releases for the Switch Online.
We haven't missed a ton. I was looking back. I feel like we've talked about most of the major stuff, but I think touching on just about everything is well within our ability.
Yeah, and at first it was big hitter shit. When the service first came, it was like, oh man, we got to talk about everything, Donkey Kong Country, and shit like that. Mm-hmm. But then the Genesis stuff we might have slacked on just because they throw 3 Genesis games we're not familiar with.
Yeah, we've been slacking on that for sure.
But I mean, maybe it puts a special touch on it that we're kind of picky choosy on what we cover.
Yeah.
It said July game updates. Have they been doing them monthly? Or because I don't feel like I don't feel like it's every month. I could be wrong.
No, I don't think so. I could be wrong as well, but I don't feel like. I mean, we get these when they happen, right? Like we know when these are going on, and we certainly don't talk about it every other podcast.
Mm-hmm. So 2 big games have come out both Fridays in the 2 weeks since the last podcast.
Yeah, you've been overwhelmed with RPG nonsense. Not nonsense, but just like shenanigans.
Yeah, the first of which, Live Alive.
That's a good looking case, man. That's a good looking cover. Yeah. Can you flash that up again?
Yeah.
Nice, dude. Yeah, that looks great.
Beautiful. Love the game. It's definitely going to be my go-to travel game as far as if I'm in the car, not driving, or just kind of attention here and there, kind of like Triangle Strategy. You would love the combat. There's this grid-based combat, but it's not like Triangle Strategy. It's more like you have a radius around you, and certain attacks have these odd radiuses that cover certain blocks.
Almost like chess.
In a way, but it still has that turn-based RPG feel, and it's also got this when you move a tile, it fills up the action meter on your enemies, kind of like a Loop Hero meets Final Fantasy VII type of timer.
I was thinking Final Fantasy VII when you said that.
It's like Final Fantasy VII if it was like Loop Hero in the way that when you move a tile, the bar goes some but stops. It'll go more when you move again.
Interesting.
Very pleasing. I love the combat system.
Awesome.
They put out a video I wanted to mention of the artist of the game doing a sketch of all the main characters from the game. Naoki Ikashima. Fantastic art, fantastic video. I like to see this type of content come out from Nintendo around these games. You like this extra, kind of like when they did the making of Breath of the Wild. Mm-hmm. They didn't have to do that, but that was really cool that they did.
Totally.
That's a must watch for anybody who's played Breath of the Wild. So Live Alive, big success. I'm hoping it does numbers, man. I'm hoping that shit like Triangle Strategy and Octopath is already regarded highly. But I'm hoping that these HD 2D games, the momentum stays there. I want them to keep making them, They were talking about that Dragon Quest HD remake we talked about a while back. I don't think they've ever said anything else about it, but that had my interest,
Totally.
I'm a sucker for the shit. But the Friday following, on the 29th, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I haven't gotten to play a shit ton of it yet, but I've gotten through into the introduction, started the story. This thing starts with a shotgun blast, bro. I mean, this is just right in. You gotta love that.
Oh yeah.
Coming off of 2, which starts so casually and so peacefully, and you kind of just at your home. You're in home, and you're in your local market, and everything's just, pretty laid back. This is like you are
straight
in the middle of war when you start.
Nice.
Love it, dude. I could go on and on about the themes of this game just already being so heavy. It's just crazy. I have these two sides fighting, and then they have, you know, like these titans that are absorbing the life from the dying soldiers. Like you can see the red souls basically just like coming out of the bodies and going into the war machines, and the death is fueling the war machines, dude. It's just insane. I feel like they've gotten so serious. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was serious, you know, and they've always got these big threats and serious themes. But with this, man, they're really starting it off showing death occurring and, you know, just it all being about death, really. And I love that, you know. It seems like a really dark game already. So I'm looking forward to playing the fuck out of it and having more to say about it, man.
Awesome.
An interesting thing I wanted to point out, I did get the standard edition because at this point, the special was very iffy, if not impossible. But I got to tell you something interesting, Tyler. I went to the page before, you know, it was actually going to come from Amazon and it was a done deal, just to see, because I wanted the special edition. And it said available July 29th. That's what it said for the special edition. Like, it's going to be available on the store that day. Because obviously I'm thinking, oh, should I get the game? Should I purchase it on the day to get the special?
Is it worth it to wait a week to get a special if you can confirm that it's going to happen or whatever?
So happy I said, fuck it. I'm going to get the standard edition through Amazon.
Page is gone?
Because guess what? The page is gone. You got Wario standing there flexing. Sorry, can't find the page. Doesn't exist. Don't know what you're talking about. What special edition?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's wild.
So then, yeah. I don't know if maybe we talked about it last time.
This has happened more than once now.
They had a bug. Maybe we talked about it, where it thought everybody had purchased the one, that it was one per person. And there was a bug to where it thought everybody on the store had purchased their one per person. So whenever me or anyone else would go try to purchase it, it would say limit reached. So you have no button to click. It just has a grayed out button that says limit reached. Only one per customer. So I kind of looked on the internet, see what people are saying, and everybody's saying, yeah, it thinks that I've already purchased my limit, but I didn't even get to add it to my cart. So I don't know what happened.
And that was for the special edition before this issue happened.
It was for the Xenoblade Chronicles
disappeared.
Original. Yep. It's almost like right when it came out the gate, it was immediately fucked. And now it's just gone.
Maybe they had the limit actually set to 0.
I don't know what happened here. It was a debacle, though. It seems like in the UK they have it a bit more figured out than here. Apparently in the UK you can like pay the difference and basically just get the other items except for the physical copy of the game. I don't know why that can't be available to any My Nintendo member. Like, why can't I just drop $20-$30 on the My Nintendo store and you just mail me the shit that came with the game?
Yeah. I don't know, man.
You know, I'm not trying to be pouty about it, but I just don't understand why that has to be a UK exclusive thing.
The Nintendo Online, like, options. I mean, we've talked at length about the N64 controller. You know, what can you say about it other than it's never gonna be able to, like, they clearly don't have it down pat yet when it comes to that side of the business, to be honest.
No. They really don't. And, sometimes, you know, it's a bit frustrating. It's funny because I actually have some cool shit to show for the gaming and pickups today from the My Nintendo store. But at the same time, some of these things could be available on that platform. Like, you know what I mean? I don't understand why they can't just... The same front end you used for the redemption of points and the member exclusive stuff. Just put the special edition there.
Yeah, I don't know. But it seems like this has happened for more than one thing now, as far as the special edition being incomprehensible, right? Like, there's been a couple SEs that you were going to get that never really materialized in that way, if I remember correctly, for a few games.
I think Metroid Dread was one I was kind of waiting the same thing. I think that's what I was
thinking of, yeah.
Yeah, I really wanted the special edition for that, and it was on Amazon just constantly... Not in stock. Look at your email for updates. Never happened. I saw people mentioning in talks of the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 thing, talking about the Metroid Dread one, how they have people one person made a comment, so I don't want this to be taken as complete and utter fact, but somebody said something like, yeah, the scalpers that did get a hold of Dread special editions, they can't sell them, so now you can actually get it cheaper than it was retail. Sounds odd, but I did see it mentioned, so that's a game to think about in the talks. One that almost didn't materialize, kind of like you said.
Well, we'll have more about Live Alive and Xenoblade in the future.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
I started off clean run prehistoric era. I kind of wanted to get in with the most primitive era and then go from there. And I'm really glad I did. I really like the prehistoric section. It's cool that there's no dialogue. It's all bubbles above heads with like sprites, what they're talking about and what they're meaning. That's really cool. So yeah, I would actually recommend. I don't think it's on the demo. I don't think it's one of the 3 routes you can take, but you should fire in with the prehistoric, man. It's pretty cool. But we have a Christmas in July follow-up segueing into the gaming and pickups kind of.
Yep.
Where we each got a game for each other, and we're just gonna kind of just mention how the games were and
I want to start.
The time we've had. Go ahead, start. Man.
Yeah.
I got Tyler Tome. This is a game I hold in high regard.
Yeah, so this was purchased with the explicit thought to be played on the Steam Deck, which, of course, I did. And it plays incredibly. I mean, this game has everything you want from a casual game of any kind. It's kind of based around photography and exploring and walking around to different unique characters and trying to fulfill their requests and take photos for them to for various reasons. And that's really the core gameplay. There's a lot of things hidden where taking pictures, focusing on your viewfinder, putting it in first person gives you a totally different perspective on the level because it's kind of a top-down view normally, but then you get first person from the view of the camera, and it gives you a duality of, kind of 2 different angles that is very satisfying to explore, and they do a lot with that. So highly recommend it. It's not very expensive. It's a brief game, right? I think most people beat it in somewhere 4 to 8 hours, but totally worth it. I mean, honestly, just a beautiful game. I haven't quite beaten it, but I've made it through, fulfilled quite a few requests, and I do intend to finish it out, but I definitely have made a good progress into the game in just a few sessions. So it's not a marathon type game, but I definitely think that it's a game you could find yourself booting up just to relax and just, play it for fun.
Definitely. I'm glad you enjoyed the game, man.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic one. You said a lot of the things about it that I would have expected you to say. The first person camera, it's just, there's so much depth to the game, with when you look around or look up or, just so many little quirks that make the game so appealing constantly,
Absolutely.
I think it retails for $20. That's what I paid for when I bought it. I think it's worth it. It may not be the longest game, but I think it is a very polished, very well done game. I think it's a great game for kids. I mean, that's, we don't always touch on whether a game is kid-friendly or not because that's not something we focus on. But, man, Tome is a fantastic game for a kid of any age, really.
I agree.
Nothing harmful there,
No, it's very wholesome.
But getting into Ronin. I think Ronin's a fantastic game. I didn't finish it also. I beat the first 2 bosses. And really what stopped me was I realized some games on the Steam Deck have cloud saves, I guess, and some don't.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Ronin didn't have the cloud save. So whenever I hopped on, I was like, I'm going to play some Ronin on the Steam Deck. It was forcing me to start a new game. And I was like, shit, man, I really want to load and continue my progress,
Mm-hmm.
So that wasn't able to happen. That's unfortunate. But I did play it on the PC a good bit. I got to tell you, it's very interesting, very fun. It's a whole new concept. I know it's not a new game. You told me it came out years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But taking it from a fresh look.
Oh, yeah.
When you said turn-based, it was a lot different than I expected. It's a lot of physics in it,
Mm-hmm.
turn-based physics combat
Definitely.
in a 2D space can get very difficult. Now, I didn't have too much trouble until we got, like I said, to the Yoshimitsu white armor guys. Those motherfuckers are something else.
Yeah, in the later levels, you start to see a lot more of those type of enemies all in one place.
Fuck them. So yeah, like I said, man, just taking down Wise Gal and getting out of there, that's the second boss. That was a feat to me. I mean, that was difficult. So like I said, I'm kind of intimidated by the rest of the game. I'm certainly going to finish it. But if the second boss was that tough, I would consider it tough at least. I'm sure the rest of the game is difficult. You can upgrade by getting skills by all three objectives they give you, like side objectives, not triggering the alarm, killing all the enemies in the area.
Yep.
You can if you get all three of those, you can unlock a skill. But I think I might have unlocked one. I mean, it's ridiculous to demand some of those objectives.
I like that though. I like that added challenge element.
I like that too.
And once you start unlocking some of that tech, I feel like it'll be easier to complete certain challenges, and you can snowball it. Kind of like sorry to interrupt. It reminds me of Cuphead, where as you unlock some of the you have to grind to unlock the abilities in Cuphead. Like, it's not easy.
Yeah.
They don't throw a ton of points at you. You have to be judicious with how you spend them.
And they don't start you with a loadout at the beginning of the game either. They start you pea shooter, you're going in. Yep.
Yeah. So I feel like it reminds me of that, where it kind of snowballs, right? As you unlock these things, you can do more things.
Totally, bro. But I think the one that I got was the hanging death one, where you could like hang people from the ceiling.
Love that.
A couple sections where that was really useful.
Absolutely. Very satisfying too.
Going across the rooftop, you know what I'm saying? Just literally pulling them up one by one, just hang them high. And it very satisfying. And of course, the more of these you unlock, I'm sure you're going to find yourself having something like that in more than one scenario where you're like, oh, this room's easy as shit.
Yep.
But with that one upgrade, man, I feel like it was quite a task escaping that building alive.
As far as other gaming and pickups stuff, if you didn't have any more thoughts on Ronin.
Love the game. I think it's. You said it was Devolver Digital. It fits right into the family.
We're gonna test out the cloud save thing. I want to test that out as well, because I don't want to lose my progress.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, other than that, I beat New Game Plus on Triangle Strategy. I have now 120 hours on that save file. So safe to say I enjoyed the game. Highly recommend if you do look into the game, which, by the way, if you haven't and you have a Switch and you like RPGs, just download the demo. It's the first 3 chapters.
Just get the demo.
Your progress carries over. There's literally no downside. I think most people, have slept on this game. We've talked about that a little bit, but I am actually banging the hype drum for this game for people, to people that I know who are RPG fans who own a Switch. So yeah,
love it.
Yeah, been doing that. Me and my wife finished Bowser's Fury. We got all 100 cat shines on that finally.
I saw you were on there recently.
Yep, we cleaned that up. Went through. Really enjoyed the last few challenges in that game. It gets hard at the end. There's quite a few things that are pretty difficult, but I like it. I love. We'll do a different Mario 3D talk at another time. I don't want to get caught up with this, but I do love the platforming, like the challenging and creative platforming focused design of that game, where they're not going heavy on theme or atmosphere or the world. They're going heavy on, we're going to put these fun creative levels in that you have to beat in multiple ways, and we're going to make it interesting platforming instead of making it super believable. You know what I mean? From a story perspective.
Like your Sunshine courses.
Exactly. They're all like that. Like those bonus levels on Sunshine, 100%. But
that's what we love. We've always loved it.
So I really hope they go that way with in some way, I hope they have taken that lesson for the next 3D Mario game. That's all I'm going to say.
I think they will. I think we're going to be very pleased and very impressed with the next whatever Mario game comes out.
Yeah. That's pretty much what I wanted to cover on gaming and pickups. I've obviously got the Waluigi. Triangle Strategy was the biggest time sink for me the last 2 weeks. I really wanted to grind out that New Game Plus. So yeah,
it's a game I want to give some love and care to as well. Trust me, man. Always on the brain.
It's addictive. Once I finished the New Game Plus, I booted up Final Fantasy X HD Remaster because I was like, I need a little bit of RPG-ness. And unfortunately, I was right at the part where you're forced to play Blitzball, and I was like, that's why I stopped playing this. But
I like playing the Blitzball though.
What's
wrong with Blitzball?
It feels like a chore. It feels like a chore to me.
I think it's a cool little change up from the normal Final Fantasy formula.
I don't think it's bad from a design standpoint. I just don't enjoy it that much. I'm addicted to the combat system and the progression system in that game, and the story.
It too. I love all of it,
and I love the story. You know, it's a little silly, but I love it. So Blitzball is the one part of the game that is none of those things.
But the Blitzball's part of that silliness. Are you serious?
I just don't enjoy it, man. I played
it's
it.
Okay.
It was fine.
I mean, it's like not like in a mini game. It's like, who cares? It's not the overlying.
It is, and I'm not. But I was like, I thought it was funny that when I launched my save file, I was right there. I was like, that makes sense. So I
that is really funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I beat it, and I beat that section.
You're talking about like the tournament whenever you go to the tournament?
Yeah.
Oh, I had fun with that, man.
It's pretty near the beginning, I know, but I didn't make it too far in.
You were playing that on the Steam Deck?
No, on Switch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I had it purchased on Switch, so I figured I had to reinstall it. I had to archive some stuff and reinstall it because it's a huge game.
I have so many Final Fantasies on Steam, I forgot if I have 10 on there too. Probably.
But yeah, anything for you gaming and pickup wise?
Steam Deck, trying all kinds of games. We're going to be talking about that
now.
In the top 5, especially in the discussion. Been playing a lot on there. Live Alive and Xenoblade 3. No-brainers.
Yep.
Definitely been playing them. New HROT content. HROT. Legacy of the podcast. Lot of content drop. When I say a lot, I mean like 2 levels because I had already played through the whole first episode and then the second episode, everything that was out. So I think he finally came out with the conclusion, which was 2 levels, like the Granny's Valley, which is like the level going into the boss, and then the boss of episode 2. So there was like 8 new achievements. You know, I got to keep HROT 100%ed. So. Yeah. Dedicated some time to that. Really enjoyed the new level. The new boss was not difficult at all. That seems to be a thing, you know.
Maybe you're just too good.
Well, I mean, I'm not playing on the hardest difficulty either the first time I play. I always go back and amp the difficulty up after I finish a shooter, you know.
Makes sense.
But very fun. Had a good time doing that. Switch Sports Bowling. Haven't been doing runs, but definitely have been playing for fun. Playing with my girl. Unlocked every classic equipment piece. I'm happy about that, bro. Because I don't know if you are familiar with the sets and all that, but the classic is like the wooden, old school, kind of like, you know, dated looking equipment. Cool. I always bowl with the classic bowling ball. So I kind of like gravitated to wanting all of the classic items. And it's funny because they came out with this next wave and that cleared it, dude. I needed like the tennis racket, and that was the last one. So yeah, Swiss Sports Bowling, RPG time,
awesome
content.
Let's get into reviewing the Steam Deck. We'd spent like about an hour on the news.
Oh shit, we really did, huh?
Yeah.
Well, the Steam Deck. There's a lot to talk about here. You got yours quite a bit before me, but mine did come. Considering Q3 is what it is, I'd say it came at a decent time.
It was pretty much dead center halfway through Q3 when you actually got your email, right? It was like the 14th, 15th. Or I guess it would have been the 18th because that was 13 days ago. So yeah.
Yep.
So
And
pretty much dead
it.
center of Q3. So you can't really ask for much better than that.
Yep, and paid for it Monday, got it Friday. So I've had it for a week and 2 days.
And the calculator that we looked at, I think, said what, the 25th for you, maybe. I think so that's pretty dead on, because that same calculator, I ended up getting my email about a week before the date that it said too. So that's pretty interesting. Pretty good estimation there.
Yeah, that's surprising actually, because you told me not to take it seriously and that it was kind of like a,
Yeah, and I don't think anyone should, because there are people who've had it be totally wrong. But I do like that is there for people like us that are like tweaking, thinking about getting their Steam Deck.
Yeah, and taking this thing out the box, Tyler,
very satisfying.
Is something that you can't really convey to somebody who doesn't have the enthusiasm for it and hasn't taken it out of the box.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
It's kind of like, it's like some Indiana Jones shit. It's just really special. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is a really special device. And it's almost like the missing, I know I sound like I'm concluding it with the intro, but I'm just trying to state the importance of this thing, you know? For somebody people like us who've been playing on the Switch and playing on the PC and kind of like jump around with our gaming, this is the connector that makes the circle complete.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree. I agree.
It makes our Nintendo shit is portable and you could put it on screen. Yep. Now our Steam shit's portable and you could put it on a screen. We have all the versatility in gaming we could ask for in life.
Let's start off with the size of it. That's kind of the thing that I feel like most people don't really understand, but this thing is truly massive, and it's hard to comprehend by seeing it on screen exactly how big it is.
It's a big boy.
It's absolutely huge. It makes, like, if you have your full size, normal size Switch sitting next to it, I mean, it makes it look absolutely tiny by comparison.
The frame of this is what it is, like this camera. But like you said, man, I mean, it's like, just think about the size of that compared to a Switch, you know?
It's like probably 30% bigger than a Switch, if I had to guess. Like,
I mean, 30% is generous, yeah. It's a bulky boy. Now, we like that.
I do too, yeah. I mean, yeah, it uses up that size very well because it's a lot of screen, which is good. It's a lot of screen. Yep. That's what you want. And then the rest of the space is used pretty efficiently. I haven't really found myself cramping. I have heard that people with smaller hands have some issues, and I could definitely see that because there's so many buttons and they're so spread out all over the whole device that if you had really small hands, I could see that being an issue. But I have pretty large hands, as I feel like you also do.
We're not card holders for the tiny hand society.
No,
so.
Yeah, because I don't have too much of an issue. I will say, like, to hit the bottom of the two like reprogrammable buttons with your pinky, to me, I feel like that's a little bit of a stretch. But I also don't ever use those.
I don't use them either, but I mean, when I played Aperture Desk Job and when I did use them, I found myself using my middle finger.
Really?
And the finger next to it, not my pinky.
Interesting.
I actually didn't know what was intended. I didn't know if pinky was intended, but I just the two fingers next to my indexes, my middle and the one next to it, those comfortably for me fit right onto those to where that.
That's interesting.
I was playing a game with a loadout where I think it was Quake 2 actually, where those were jump.
Oh.
And I actually was fucking around with it because I was like, this is actually really comfortable hitting those to jump. Because you feel like you're not doing anything. When you want to jump, just twitch your middle finger.
Yep.
And that was pretty nice, actually. I was surprised by that.
How have you found so we talked about the size. So generally, I would say we're in favor of it being larger. I think it makes a lot of sense for this. I mean,
we could talk about the form factor in general with the size. I think the form factor of it is fantastic. The trackpads, like you said, everything is kind of arranged on it to where there's no space wasted.
Definitely.
You know, with the Switch, you could say the same, but the screen is just not as big. But I'm glad that you don't feel like you're sacrificing any screen here.
Do you find yourself using the trackpads for shooter games? I know you said you thought you would, but now that you have it in hand, are you on the twin sticks or are you mixing in the trackpad at all?
I try everything with the trackpad. I think if I turned up the sensitivity, I could probably find a happy place. I haven't really tinkered with it too much as far as that, you know. If I turned up the sensitivity, I think we could rock with that.
With the trackpad or with the sticks?
With the trackpad. Now with the sticks, it just naturally you start playing with the stick just to see how the basics are. Mm-hmm. Now the gyro, though, that's our happy place.
That's an interesting one.
There's no need, kind of like the Switch has like a reset button. Mm-hmm. Most things do, like, you know, you're playing Quake with the gyro, you can like hit a button and you center back. With this, you don't really need to do that because you can just center to where you want, take your finger off the right stick.
Yep.
You're centered.
Yep.
That right there is a game changer for the FPS shit, because I didn't even mess with the sensitivity of the gyro. Anything. I just go in with the gyro as it is, you know, and I feel like it's really cozy, and you get this effect where you could almost look all the way around the room. You could be in like an AR experience.
Totally.
But you take your right finger off or your right thumb off, it stops.
Yeah, I like
that's
that
a game
feature
changer.
A lot. Yeah,
I think that was a big thing that they implemented that is really nice. But I could see myself using the trackpads more. We talked about the dual trackpad typing. That really impressed me.
Yeah, we talked about how it's hard to explain what it's like, but basically you have the two trackpads and each one of them is mapped to roughly half of the on-screen keyboard, and you kind of have to. You can use your thumbs running on the trackpad to type with, but you like each one gives you control of half of the keyboard, and it takes some getting used to, but it allows you to type pretty quickly once you get used to it.
I was shocked. Yeah, it takes a second to get used to it, but once I got into the groove, I was asking myself, how is it doing this? Mm-hmm. It's just really, really, once you get going, dude, it's impressive.
Absolutely.
To the point where I wouldn't be super uncomfortable if I had to type up an essay on this thing. I mean, it doesn't seem like that daunting of a task.
How have you found the sound? I know for me,
man.
Well, so I was surprised at how loud the fan was, but I feel like they've used different components. Like, this is what I was seeing online, is that there's a couple different fans that they have used, and some of them were a little louder than others. So I think I may have got the louder end of that. Do you find that your fan runs extremely loud at all? Or not extremely loud, but it's just noticeable?
I've only noticed the sound of the fan once, and when I felt the air coming out of the vent, it actually wasn't even hot. Mm-hmm. It was just blowing mildly warm, almost room temperature air. But it was while I was downloading GTA 5, so maybe it has something to do with the massive download.
It's funny. I find when I'm playing... So I have Magic Arena as a non-Steam game that I can launch on there that I have to kind of upkeep, and it's very finicky. Mm-hmm. But I find when I'm playing that, it kills the fan and it kills the battery. It's almost like the fact that it's non-Steam and it's running an application like directly impacts the performance. And now Magic Arena is not the most optimal performing game anyway. Mm-hmm. Like, it runs pretty crappy on a lot of devices. And it doesn't run bad on the Steam Deck, but it does smash the battery and it makes the fan go crazy. So I'm wondering if it's something to do, like, because it's not an actual Steam library game, maybe that has something to do with it. But I haven't played Arena on the Steam Deck in a while anyway. But it was just something that I definitely noticed. But it was the most egregious, like I said, when I was running that, or even when I was running an emulator. Like, which you wouldn't think, like running a Game Boy emulator. Mm-hmm. But I think the fact that I'm running a non-Steam game, like, it makes the Steam, like, it's just not optimized in the same way, maybe.
Yeah, that makes sense. That would definitely explain the battery usage. Like, it's demanding more out of it than what it's used to putting out, or
but the actual sound quality of the speakers themselves is really, really good.
Oh, the volume on this thing. And you know what's crazy is right when I got it, I think they put out a patch that actually raised the volume.
Oh, really?
That's a really cool update to drop to make your device louder.
Totally.
That's insane to me,
I
bro.
almost always find myself playing on like 3 or 4 notches of volume, like less than half, and it's more than loud enough.
And it's a very stereo sound.
Yeah, it's high fidelity for sure.
It is. It's impressive because we were watching something on it like the first day I got it because I was like, I want to see how how video looks on this thing and how the audio is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, looking and sounding great to me, man. I mean, it's loud enough to where if you were sitting in bed, you could watch a movie on this big ass thing.
Yeah,
very comfortably.
If for some reason you didn't have anywhere else to watch YouTube or a movie, like you said, this would be a perfectly fine thing to use.
Yeah, if everything didn't have it on it, this is definitely passable. The touchscreen has definitely. I personally use these DigiRoot styluses for the Switch and the Steam Deck. I would definitely advise anybody get those. Just these little fiber tipped pins for tablets, And I think the touchscreen on this thing is fantastic. I mean, there's a lot of games where the first person controls shockingly good with the touchscreen. I know that sounds like some mobile game shit, but every now and then I did slide my thumb over and just experiment with the aiming just to see how the touchscreen was with some games.
Interesting.
Some of them I found it to be very interesting. Almost like remember how the DS had that little thumb thing, the little thumb plastic,
the nipple.
The nipple. I bet I could play some FPS really good with a nipple.
Goes back to, I don't know if you ever had a laptop that had a nipple, like an older IBM laptop or something. But
oh God, brings
me back to playing original Counter-Strike.
Counter-Strike 1.6 with the red button. Yeah.
Yep, and that's
miserable.
Yeah, miserable, but you can do it and you get good at it. It's the same kind of thing.
Low sensitivity gang.
Yeah.
But we've come a long way from the fucking nipple on the IBM ThinkPad. I got to tell you that.
Definitely.
There's a lot of things that could be done with this. And I know you told me you didn't play the Aperture Desk Job. It doesn't show all the features of it, but it is a definite great 30-minute little showcase of the gyro and the
everything.
The programmable buttons and everything, It also alerted me before I played it. I was like, this thing has to have a microphone in it because it was like Steam was just really pushing voice chatting. And I was like, that could just be, assuming I Bluetooth a headset or something. But then in Aperture Desk Job, they want you to say your name for like your file, and it says it back to you, and it was really funny when I did it. But the mic in it, before I'd even launched Aperture Desk Job, I actually put Audacity on the desktop mode and fired in Audacity, and I was like, I'm going to record and see what happens. Was shocked to record, about 15 seconds of my voice. I was shocked when I saw the waveform just first off, but whenever I listened back, I was shocked to see the quality of the audio. I had it at a reasonable distance from my face, and the quality of the audio was really good, man.
Yeah, nice.
I'm not saying they put some high-end mic in this thing, but I definitely am saying they put a more than competent microphone in this device.
So where you could potentially voice chat with somebody without needing any sort of other supplemental microphone.
Holding it like a foot and a half from my face, I think you could hear me clear as day. Same on the other end.
Nice.
So that's really cool, man. I mean, like that brings the voice chat into a whole new level because you're not just playing your shit on the go. You're also, you got voice chat on the go. You got everything on the go.
Yep.
And if you don't feel like voice chatting, you can use that fancy dual trackpad keyboard we talked about.
You mentioned the desktop mode. Let's talk about that because I have had my difficulties with it, and I'm interested. We haven't really talked about this off the podcast much, but I'm interested to get your thoughts on using it, getting acclimated to it at the beginning, specifically how long it took you to feel like you understood what was going on that side in general, and like what your experience with it has been, because I've like, for me, I felt like it was missing some things out of the box in terms of controls. Like I felt like it wasn't very intuitive to actually move the mouse and click on things and use the file explorer like at the base level. So I would love to hear what your experience was.
I didn't have a negative one, to be honest with you. I'm new to Linux. I've been on Windows my whole life.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty limited as well.
Years and years ago, I was on a Mac, OS for a short period of time. But other than that, it's been Windows my whole life. So Linux completely new to me. But as far as actually going into desktop mode, I found the trackpad to be instantly comfortable to use as a mouse, and it's kind of like you just press it in. The trackpads are buttons too. Mm-hmm. So you just press it in like a mouse. I was just double clicking. I kind of just thought, no, I guess you double click with the trackpad. It felt like the natural thing to do, so I did, and it worked. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, great to see that that's what I thought would have been the function is the function. Mm-hmm. So trackpad works great as a mouse for your everyday, needs on that. The way that the trackpads work is almost like they have inputs directionally, and I love that.
It's variable. Like
so you have that touch, but you also have buttons. Like underneath that single touchpad, there's also like buttons. It seems so.
I feel like it's almost like a touch screen, like the
exactly.
trackpad.
It's
mapped to a grid.
So I find that to be very interesting because I was comfortably doing D-pad actions just by being on the right, left, top, or bottom of the left trackpad.
Absolutely.
That's pretty impressive.
And
I haven't
feels
played with a
intuitive
Steam
to
controller.
do it.
Yeah, and a lot of people have used a Steam controller and they compare it to this. Mm-hmm. I don't know how 1-in-1 they are. I haven't owned a Steam controller or even held one to know. But it's pretty, to me, it's pretty nice. As far as the Linux goes, I see that you add programs, like you add applications from the front end on there. I added some stuff, but haven't really gone into the desktop mode to do much with it. I'm getting an adapter, kind of like the one you have that you showed me. I'm thinking about getting the Anchor one, maybe. It was recommended. So I'm gonna mess with desktop mode more when I can screen it,
Yeah.
But it's so cool to have it mobile and to have it functional. It really is functional.
I think our consensus has been that most games out of the box, either they work great or they, once you find the right custom control scheme, then they work great, right?
I'm so glad that this is the direction you're going in, because when the first day I got the deck, I was thinking totally different than the second day I had it. Because day one I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to focus on the games under Great on Deck. Just first thought.
Yep.
So out of my almost 200 games, 50 of them are Great on Deck. So I put those on, start dabbling with those. You had mentioned how finicky some of the games that aren't supported are.
At times.
You had just mentioned on a couple instances with some. Mm-hmm. But the more I would launch things, the more I'd realize that green check mark doesn't always mean you're going to fire this game up and it's not going to be playable. Just saying. A lot of stuff I've fired up is actually instantly playable. It wasn't until yesterday or the day before that I even needed to pull up any type of outside input configuration. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Only just yesterday or the day before. Other than that, I was like H-Rod, for example. Hrot. Mm-hmm. That shit's ready to go. It's in a low resolution, which I kind of loved because it looked like Chasm or something, like old PC Quake, So all I had to do was adjust the resolution, and it was blown away by how great it looked, and then it was just playing like you would expect. So some shit is ready. You don't do what I did the first day and just focus on games on deck. Mm-hmm. Whatever games you love and whatever games you want to try on this thing, download them and try them.
I agree with that. Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
And Tyler's mentioned the community input, the configurations for the inputs.
Yeah.
Go through. You can look and see how many hours people have played with them. That's a telltale sign. Some of these have hundreds, thousands of hours of playtime on them. You can imagine that that wouldn't be the case if they weren't very comfortable to play with.
Yeah, and not every game needs it, and it's different for different people, right? Like you're used to the Loop Hero on Switch, so you'll probably look for something that's like that. I never played it on Switch at all, so I found something that worked completely differently.
I think the Steam Deck, I haven't gotten into Loop Hero with it yet, just because I wanted to play things I hadn't had handheld. But Loop Hero is one of my favorite games, and it's always in the talks. That'll be the next thing I probably play on my Steam Deck. I could see this being my preferred device for it, just because I prefer the PC, but I like it on Switch. If there was a middle ground, that seems to be the Steam Deck.
Have you found any games that you launched and really had a difficult time playing?
Absolutely. I went ahead and tried to launch Vomitorium, which I told you was when on my desktop, whenever I would launch it, it would just fire up Doom 2. So, I understand there's probably some type of file swap or something I can do. I didn't feel like doing it. I just was like, this is hilarious. I got the game on sale so cheap. I mean, and heard it was very good, and then just fires up Doom 2. So I was like, I wonder if it'll fire up Doom 2 on the Steam Deck. So I fired it up, and what do you know? I get the game, I get the intro, I'm in, but I can't do anything except with the touch screen. And when I touch the touch screen, it bugs the fuck out. Oh. It's freaking out everywhere when I touch it.
Interesting.
So I go into some configurations. Found one, like I said, I look for the ones that are like perfect on Steam Deck or whatever. I'll try those first. Pick that, and suddenly I'm able to aim, but I can't do fuck else. That's it. So did some trying and, couple different things.
Yeah.
Couldn't move from where I stood. I could look around. Game looked fantastic, but I couldn't move from the starting point.
I think in some games like that, you have to get the community config and program something in the game setting itself. Like, I feel like that's what I've run into.
I don't think that every game is even going to be able to make perfect.
Sadly,
at this point,
I tried BeamNG.drive on Steam Deck, and it doesn't really work like you'd want. I do feel if I put some time into mapping everything that I want, it will work, but it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a community config. It's probably going to take me building my own config, because I tried community configs. I think it's one of those situations where I'm going to have to program it in the Steam Deck settings alongside stuff in the game itself, because there's just so many different controls in that game. It's a simulator style game, so it's simulating every aspect of a vehicle.
The beauty of it, Tyler, is that you can set up that configuration and you can upload it, and I can use it on the community.
Yep.
That's a really, really cool thing that I like about.
Definitely.
And we were talking about that earlier. I had to use a Rivals of Aether config for my Pro controller a while back, and it was called Wave Dash or something like that. And it just, in an instant, it just made the controls switch controls. Yeah. Felt like I was on the Switch, bottom line. And that's what you love, man. I mean, you don't have to sacrifice anything.
Yeah.
The games might not be there yet. They might not be compatible enough yet, whatever, but the fact that you actually can finesse them into being playable, or
it's just like a PC, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You can make anything run on a PC if you try hard enough. And I feel like the Steam Deck is pretty much the same way.
Yep, and that's what I was saying to you earlier, how the device constantly reminds you that it is a computer.
It is, for better or worse, right? Because some things are finicky.
It refers to itself as this computer, and it's a computer. And
it's a computer, 100%. It's not a console.
Yep, and it's something that's hard for people to wrap their heads around. Like I said, I pulled this thing out in front of somebody recently, and they said, "Is that a DS?"
That's totally not
it's
even.
It's much more than a DS, though. That's the thing about it, is what I'm saying. It's more than meets the eye with this. This is not a Nintendo Switch. Yeah, it's not a Switch killer by any means.
It's totally different.
It's a totally different thing, and I think it's best suited for people like you and I who have Steam libraries, do a lot of
Yep.
PC gaming, do a lot of shit on the PC, really. I mean, if you're a heavy user of a PC and you love video games and happen to have a Steam account with some games on it, this device is definitely for you.
I agree.
And I wouldn't think it to be crazy to start PC gaming on this thing.
Not at all.
We're talking about a different generation, perhaps.
It's
or
most
maybe,
of what you want, right?
Yeah, but I could see an older person that was like maybe like, I kind of want to play these games on the computer everybody plays, but I just don't know where to begin.
Yeah, not everybody wants to build their own custom gaming PC, which most people think you have to do PC gaming.
It's just crazy to have this dream device where you could almost put everything on max settings and just have
Just
a blast.
about, yeah. More than passable on everything.
That's pretty crazy.
I didn't find a single game where it didn't look good, and not everything automatically defaults to ultra. I found that some things, for whatever reason, defaulted to the lowest settings, but you can always change them, and I never had any performance issues.
Yeah, I didn't see my, we grew up with a lower frame rate and everything, but we play modern games.
Yeah. I leave the FPS little readout on the top left of my screen always.
Absolutely. This thing seems to be pretty good with that, though. I haven't seen any like skippage of any sort or any lag.
I've only had games crash a couple times, and I felt like it was because of the game, not because of the deck.
Haven't had a game crash.
Skyrim crashes on on anything you play it on.
I don't play Skyrim actively, but I downloaded it. That was one I wanted to try. It
looks great on there.
The beauty of the Steam Deck is that it's going to make me play things that I wouldn't have just launched on the PC.
Definitely.
On the usual desktop. Things like Skyrim, I'm actually wanting to get on there and try it out.
Absolutely.
I know you might not be the biggest fan of this because I know you quit the stuff, but I kind of want to fire up old school RuneScape for shits and gigs.
No, man, I've booted it up on there just to see how it plays, and it runs like you
plays
want.
Like on a phone. Just a big nice phone.
Different. It's like from someone who's played a lot on the phone and on the computer. It's definitely not exactly the same, but it is nice because you can map macros very easily. So if you wanted to do that kind of thing, you definitely can. They've gotten a lot more relaxed with that type of stuff anyway as of late, because they banned the use of all the cheat clients. So now they have to let people kind of do a little bit more on the regular clients. So be that as it may, I definitely feel like if you're doing skilling or something, it's definitely what you want. If you were doing combat, I probably wouldn't do anything super dangerous on the deck, because it takes some getting used to the kind of controls and everything.
Yeah, man, I feel that. So many things I want to try on it, and then I'm looking forward to talking about them on the top 5. Some of the things we've enjoyed a lot.
We'll be talking about the Steam Deck more, but overall,
oh man,
review overwhelmingly positive, to use Steam's terminology for their reviews.
Overwhelmingly positive, and that's recent and overall.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like, it's life-changing, really. I mean, it's just like you don't have to...
It's a whole new thing. It's a whole new category.
There was this compromise before, right?
100%.
I'm going here, so I'll bring my Switch or something. I mean, a lot of times, we're working or we're home, but just instances come up. Like I said, you might be passenger on a little bit of a drive or something.
For me, I love to just sit on the couch and watch TV with my wife, and I in those cases would always either play my 3DS or my Switch. So now the Steam Deck is a perfect throw-in for that type of situation.
Absolutely. I mean, like, game-changing. Usually it's like, oh, we're going to go upstairs and chill. And if we're not playing something together, I'm going to be playing. That's an automatic, I'm playing the Switch. Now it's an automatic, I'm playing whatever the fuck I want because I have the Steam Deck in bed. I mean, it's like...
It's
a
amazing.
great thing. It's everything we thought it was going to be, man. I feel good about our choice on the model.
Yep.
Just keeping it cozy in the middle, the 256.
Yep.
It's a good amount of storage, especially for people like me who like a bulk of what they play is like the retro shooters.
I bought like a 1 terabyte, I think, SD card as well. It was either 512 or 1 terabyte, whatever I sent you. But
stay tuned. Stay tuned in gaming and pickups for things that I get for the Steam Deck. That's for sure. I got quite a few items on the list that I want to get for it and enhance it with. Well, basic stuff too. I still don't have a screen protector.
We got more Steam Deck to talk about, so I think we can put a bow on the review here if you didn't have any more thoughts.
No, I didn't.
All right. Well, let's get into the top 10 games on Steam Deck so far. Now,
let's do it.
This is very specific to us. Our interests, you're going to hear a lot of games that we've talked about already today and a lot of games that we talk about commonly, but these are our recommendations. Most of these games are pretty inexpensive too, looking at this list. I would say this is a great starting list if you have a Steam Deck, but you maybe don't have a Steam library. These are some games that we would probably recommend across a lot of different genres for people. And like I said, for the most part, these are all relatively inexpensive. Accidentally, I would say almost every game on this list can be had for less than $30, except for one, but even that goes on sale very often.
Yep, and a lot of this is not the newest of games.
Very little of it actually.
That's what I like about it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I said it to you earlier. This is not about performance or like what pushes the Steam Deck to its limits.
Yeah,
this is just kind of like what we've launched that touched us, right?
Cozy stuff.
Yeah,
the staples, I would say, things that could be a staple of just about anybody's library.
Absolutely.
So let's get it started, Sterling. Why don't you start with your first one?
I think I want to start. I was in like a no particular order.
Same
mindset for this,
yeah,
but I kind of want to start with the first game I launched on the Steam Deck, and I believe it was right where I was setting it up, and just was like, where do I go? Where do I start? And I started with Ultra Kill.
Yep.
Reason being, we covered it recently. New Blood. They had a recent presentation showing some of the new shit that comes out. I'm a very big follower of New Blood, what they put out, the retro shooters, Dusk, and just everything they do. I'm a huge fan of. They got a really cool shooter coming out called Gloomwood, amongst many others that I'm highly interested in. But the first game I fired up was Ultra Kill. I remember seeing they were kind of flexing that it was Steam Deck verified and showed some Steam Deck gameplay, so I just had high expectation out the gate that it was going to perform very well. So I fired it up, man. I had a great fucking time. I mean, I played through like 4 or 5 levels before I actually got off. And then went back to it later that day and played it some more.
Nice.
Thought it was fantastic.
That's a good pick, man.
Yep. This game's still in early access, I believe, but you can get in on $19.99. You can get in on it.
Nice to see early access and great on deck together. That's a great combination.
Definitely. I'm so shocked that Ultra Kill got this treatment before Dusk. Not complaining, but you would think Dusk would have been like a day one no-brainer. Got to get it deck verified.
My number one on the list is a game that we have already talked about today, and that's Tome. I think for the price, this game is so charming and so just enjoyable. Anybody can pick it up and enjoy it. Like, it doesn't really matter what type of game you're into. You'll be able to play this and have a good time, and I think that's kind of the definition of a staple. So that's my pick for all the reasons I called out earlier in the episode. It's just beautiful. It looks great. It sounds great. It plays great on the deck. The photography aspect is very, very relaxing and charming. Makes you feel very similar to something like a Pokemon Snap, but it's more of an open world game where Pokemon Snap's an on rails situation.
Yeah, if you like Pokemon Snap and you like walk around RPGs,
this is it.
This is it. Now you said that was your number one. Did we say
that's my first?
10?
No. We're in no particular order. This is just my first one that I wanted to mention.
Okay. Next up on the list, coming from my side of the court, is for a basic reason. It's Rot, and that's just because of what I said. I fired it up, just changed the resolution, and I was off and going. I didn't have to go into any configuration. anything like that. Just immediately was comfortably playing the game. And just the you don't get to have that experience with every game where you're like, holy shit, I can't believe I'm playing this in handheld.
Yeah.
But something like Kart that's so niche and it's early access.
It blows you away.
And it's not from a huge developer. It's so underground.
Yep.
But I almost launched it as a gag just to see what would happen. But I'm playing it. I didn't go to configurations or nothing, man. I was just so shocked, and I got that feeling that the Switch gave us for certain shit, or even the 3DS. You know what I mean? Where we're like, I can't believe I'm playing this shit handheld. It's kind of like that Smash 3DS. Like, I can't believe that I have Smash on DS. You know,
funny that you mentioned that.
Yeah, definitely funny because you're definitely gonna have something to say shortly. That is of comedic value.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, Herat, it's kind of a novelty pick, but at the same time, it's not really fully novelty. It's playable, and it's something I'm very fond of having access to on the go.
Yep. Reason I said that, I'll go ahead and bring this next game up. It's a game that you've played more than me substantially, but I have played more than you on Steam Deck, so at least I have that. Rivals of Aether. This game, it feels like it was made for the deck, and it's funny because it doesn't even have a check mark. It's a yellow eye,
yellow question mark,
kind of partial compatibility, but I don't know why, because when you go to the page, it'll tell you why, but on this one, I don't think it gives any specifics, but it runs perfectly in my experience. Some of that is like, if you have to pull up the on-screen keyboard, it'll give you that yellow symbol, right? So I feel like that is where we see it a lot of times, because they don't want you to have to pull up the on-screen keyboard on your own. And so I think that is so minimal because it's so easy to do that it doesn't invalidate a great on deck situation to me, like they seem to imply. You know what I mean? Yeah.
There's a game I don't want to mention because it's on the list, but I mean, I remember getting into it. I had to use the touch screen to get into it, but once I was in, it was playing fantastically.
Exactly. So yeah, Rivals of Aether. The reason I laughed earlier is because the config that I use is called Just Play Smash 3DS.
Smash 3DS, yeah. which is it's really funny, but Rivals is like one of my favorite games. So at the same time, don't just play Smash 3DS, play Rivals.
Well, and it's tongue in cheek, right? Because obviously you're playing the game. But
absolutely, I think it's very funny and I think it's very tasteful. But I just wanted that to be known. That Rivals is that shit.
I was indecisive about what control scheme, and I saw that in the community configs, and it put me at ease. We'll put it that way.
I'm going to go find that wave dash when I use on my Pro controller and put that
It might automatically go to it. Well, you said no because you launched it up earlier.
No, I didn't. Yeah, and some of the inputs were different. They were more Xbox than Switch.
Gotcha.
And I would always do, on big picture mode, I always switch it to the Nintendo configuration.
But that's my pick, man. Rivals of Aether. Great game.
We gotta play some Rivals, bro.
Smash style fighting game. I'm sure you'll mess me up, but I do enjoy it quite a lot.
I was playing with my little brother not too long ago, and having a good time. I will say,
I took it online. I went online and just played some friendlies against randoms on Rivals on Wi-Fi to see how it did on the Steam Deck. No lag at all.
Well, Rivals, I think it's got a big following and a big fandom, but I think it's pretty known for having pretty good, constantly updated netcode and just having good connection.
It felt buttery smooth. It really didn't feel any different than playing against a CPU, honestly.
Yeah, I haven't gone online in a while recently, but
I was able to queue into someone pretty quickly, so...
Oh, I'm sure the game is pretty widely played. I wonder if it's cross-platform.
I don't know, but I know that we saw a trailer for Rivals 2 not too long ago. I'd love to see when that comes out and get that on the deck because that'll be huge.
You know, it's funny. I was thinking you could play that Multiverses game on the deck, which is like the scuffed, Warner Brothers Smash, kind of.
I don't really have an
DC
interest
Smash.
in those other kind of Smash clones that are
No,
IP
me
based.
neither. I think that Smash and Rivals is like that's my cozy place. That's the two I need, man.
Yeah, but let's hear your next one, man.
The next one on my list is Art of Rally. It's a game that I picked up and was really into, and I kind of dropped it like it was hot, man. I mean, I just kind of didn't play it for a while. But when I was looking at the great on deck stuff when I first got the Steam Deck, saw Art of Rally was great on deck. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna fire this up.
Mm-hmm.
Not the most graphically intensive game by any means, but the most aesthetically pleasing, probably, car game I can think of.
Sure.
And I found myself sitting there and playing it for so long, and then later on sitting down a game again, going back to it, and just running through these rally groups, and having a fantastic time, man. I mean that's such a great game to have on the deck. I'm reminded all over again how good the game is, and now I consider myself actively playing it at any given time. I feel like I'm interested in continuing my story progression and doing these rallies. It's just there's nothing groundbreaking about what it uses with the Steam Deck, right? I mean, you're really just using your
button controls,
you're
and
accelerating
that's how it is with
right
most
trigger
games.
but I think a lot of it has to do with the hardware, right? I mean, the sticks are just so comfortable.
Yes,
they're perfect. I mean, we didn't get into the sticks in the review, but the sticks on it are just.
It's because
perfect.
they speak for themselves. Like, there's not too much to talk about. They just work.
Yep. And another thing is iFixit. I wanted to bring that up, man. iFixit is really doing the most, and Valve having all these components available for purchase to where you can just buy replacement everything, official parts, man.
Yeah, that's really nice.
It's so cool that we have that type of support. If your thumbstick shits out, just order a new one, dude.
I think I think my right stick has some drift issues from day one, actually.
What?
It's very rare, but it's like it doesn't reset to the middle perfectly sometimes if I flick it to the right. Like, it'll stay very slightly like coerced to the right. I didn't really bring that up because it's specific to me, and it's not something that I notice all the time, but I can replicate it easily. So it's definitely something that it is not intended that is happening. So
that's odd. Well,
yeah,
I got a little off the rails with the joysticks, but
that's okay.
Art of Rally is the pick.
Nice,
Love
man.
the game. Great car game.
Nice. My next one is one that I've if we had to track how many lists, top 5, top 10, we put a certain game on, this would be up there for me in terms of put it on the most lists.
Top 5 games we've put on top 5s.
That would be an interesting one for like a anniversary episode of some kind.
A lot to keep up with, yeah.
A lot to keep. We'd have to go back, but man, we could do that. But yeah, Slay the Spire. You know me, I love card games and roguelikes, and this is the one that started it all, or, brought it there in terms of combining those two genres. And it plays perfectly on the Steam Deck surprise. Like, it's amazing if you use the touch screen. It's amazing if you just use button controls. Like, you can play it however you want, but it feels like the game is 1-in-1 with the hardware because of just the nature of the game. And it's already been developed for Switch and button controls so much that I don't even think it lets you change the controls. That's the interesting part. Because there's no need.
No shit.
Like, I think I went looking for a community config and there wasn't any. Like, I think they might have it locked because it is already perfectly designed for button controls.
We were talking about the excitement behind yeeting the cards on the touchscreen on the Switch. Now you could do it on the Steam Deck too, man.
Yep, absolutely.
Got another alternative, and it's hard to call it an alternative when it's probably for you especially. I'm sure you put a lot more into your Steam side of it than the Switch.
So I have a lot of hours on both, but yeah.
Probably happy to pick up your Steam and have it affordable. I mean, achievements, we didn't really talk about it, but that definitely puts you in an achievement mindset because you're playing on the Steam Deck. Now, you're not used to having achievements on Switch, you know.
Absolutely.
But great pick, man, definitely. I'm going to be playing some Slay the Spire on the deck as well.
It's a very, just like Loop Hero, just like we talked about Triangle Strategy, it's a perfect half attention, watch TV, you know.
Yep.
Or hanging out, everybody's doing some gaming of their own, whatever the case may be. Like, it's perfect for that.
And I still want to try that Downfall expansion I told you about, the fan-made expansion.
Yeah, I have an interest in that as well. I still have so much to do on the main game. I haven't gotten into any of the mod content yet, but there's a huge library of stuff out there. But the one you're talking about is so big that it's actually like being pushed by the devs and everything.
Yeah. I want to get into that because I assume it'd be pretty good if they're front-ending it on Steam.
Totally.
You know?
Like, even when you launch I don't have that mod and I've never downloaded it, but when I launch Slay the Spire on the Steam Deck, it says play with mods or play like vanilla. Mm-hmm. That's my two options when I launch it. So that's how prevalent modding in that game is.
That's awesome, dude. My next pick is going to be GTA 5. I was so big on GTA 5 when it came out, as everybody was. I mean, like, I've never played it really. I played it so much I wore it out and haven't gone back. Now, this was one of my big curiosities whenever I first fired up the Steam Deck. I'm like, man, GTA 5 on this thing. I was thinking about GTA 5 and Doom Eternal. You know what to expect from Doom Eternal. You know
it's going to run great.
It's going to run great. But with GTA 5, I thought there might be a chance that it'd be finicky. It's not green. You know, Eternal's in the green. It's got the verification. GTA 5 does not. It's the game I mentioned earlier where I kind of had the touch screen through the Rockstar launcher, and then I'm in. But once I was in, though, controls are fine, looking good, playing good. And let me tell you, GTA 5 on the go in this format, that'll bring you back to GTA 5. I have a very strong feeling I'm going to be playing through the story on this game again.
Yeah, I don't even have it on Steam at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no. The only place I own that game is on PS4, and I think I gave away my PS3 copy.
I had it on 360, and then I moved like my shit. You could move your account over. I moved it over to PC after I got it on PC. So I was able to keep my online rank.
I'll have to see. Can you keep your story progress?
That's what I'm curious about. I didn't sign into the Rockstar launcher. It just started me from fresh story. But I'll tell you what, if I could get, I'm kind of glad it started me on fresh story though, because that made me want to play through the story again on the deck. I'm like 75%
through the story on my best playthrough, so that I would like to carry that progress over.
I'm gonna mess with that probably today, and I'll let you know.
Definitely,
for sure,
because that game goes on sale for like $8 sometimes. So I'm not gonna buy it full price, but I'll buy it, and that was what I mentioned, like sort of teased before we got into the list. All these games are really cheap except GTA 5, but even that goes on sale so frequently that you can have it for less than $20 pretty commonly these days.
Definitely. The takes up over 100 gigs. I'm sure people aren't surprised by that. Yeah.
That's wild.
It's like 112 gigs.
Jeez Louise. I think the biggest game I have installed is probably Metal Gear Solid 5, which I haven't really played too much, but it takes up like 60 gigs.
Doom Eternal's like 89 gigs, I think.
Not surprising, because GTA 5 is basically two games in one. It has the whole online game and the whole, story mode and everything.
But GTA 5 handheld with
that's awesome, man.
Amazing
I didn't even think
PC
about GTA
settings.
like that.
Shit, I can't. It's so funny to say, playing 5 on it. I can't wait to launch 4.
Is 4? That was my next question. Is 4 on Steam? I'm sure it is.
Absolutely, I have all of the Grand Theft Auto games on Steam.
I have everything prior to 4. I have all the PS2 era stuff.
If you don't have 4 and you ever see it on sale, I highly advise you get the.
I enjoy. 4 is. I loved that game. I played.
What I'm saying
crap
is,
out
you
of
got
it.
Get the end episodes from Liberty City.
Okay.
The DLC for that game is so good.
Awesome. Yeah, I never played it.
I played a lot of GTA 4 ahead of 5.
I did too.
And I had the expansions, like the version of the disc that had the Ballad of Gay Tony and then the biker one. I forgot what it was called.
I know what you're talking about.
And those were very good.
Nice.
So I actually can't wait. I think GTA 4 might be in the green on the Steam Deck, great on deck. I might be wrong.
So. I think I saw it on there, yeah.
But that game was a marvel for the time. So
totally.
I want to get on there and play that also.
I loved 4, man. That was an awesome game.
4 is so good. And I feel like it was talked so good about at the time, and then now people don't look back on it as fondly. But I feel like I always maintain that hype that 4 was really good.
I agree. It had a lot of what made like San Andreas, for example, good with a lot of the more modern features that we get in 5.
They just polished the combat up. I mean, like we had never seen, and basically transferred it over to 5.
Totally. So the last one I have for mine is going to be Loop Hero. That's a game that we've talked about numerous times. I'm not going to go into it at length here.
I think you have one more game left.
Do I?
You do.
I did skip one. Okay, second to last pick. Excuse me. Loop Hero. Love this game. You put me onto it. Actually, I think you played the majority of your time with this game before I ever had played it. But now it feels like a game that I have played for years, just because I have dove so deep into it in such a short amount of time.
I gifted it to you too.
That's right. I forgot about that. Well, that was a great gift because I have put a lot of time into it, and the Steam Deck is a big reason for that. It runs fantastic on there.
And that's what we love to hear. Man, I'll tell you what, I forgot to mention it. I'm still waiting on my special reserve for Loop Hero, but my Quake Deluxe is in the mail, bro. It's on the way. DHL.
Ooh, yes, excellent.
That'll be big on gaming and pickups.
For sure.
But yeah, man, Loop Hero, we love it. The Steam Deck, we love it. This is a marriage made in heaven.
Definitely.
The last one I had, from my side of the list at least, was Left 4 Dead 2. It's the little
Great
things
pick.
in life.
Classic. It's something you think about immediately when you think Steam Deck, because
it's the little things
pure
in life,
Valve.
Man. I mean,
if I didn't see check marks on both those games in my library, I was going to be furious.
Just the mere existence of Left 4 Dead 2 in a handheld format, looking like it does, playing like it does. I don't know what else to say about it. I mean,
those games were way ahead of their time.
Left 4 Dead is such a pick up and play shooter.
Absolutely.
That's never going to change. And I feel like when I think about overtime, I've put so much time into Left 4 Dead, because I even played it on Xbox also. Mm-hmm. I remember playing it on Xbox quite a bit, PC back in the day. I think I've mentioned it before. It's such a great game to play in the early morning hours when the sun's not out yet and you're just kind of easing into dawn. Just play some Left 4 Dead, man. It's a great way to bring the day in. But yeah, Left 4 Dead 2 on the Steam Deck. Expect me to be playing that quite a bit, because I fired some up yesterday and was having a blast. Great on the deck, man.
Awesome. Yeah, I haven't played it on the deck, but
it
is in my library, and I think I have 2 installed, but I haven't booted it up yet.
I think it only takes up like 12 gigs too.
Yeah, you love to see that. Let me shut this. I have some company walking in. Hang on 1 second. We'll just roll over here.
It's okay, everybody.
Might hear Lucy going a little crazy here. My very last one is going to be Rocket League. I'm glad you reminded me that I glossed over this, because this is what we live for. This is a game that we've had available handheld via the Switch already, so it's not a new way to play, but it is better than ever in terms of handheld, because you have to launch it for yourself to believe how good it looks and sounds. Rocket League is a game that's very much about the audio, the music, like listening to what's around you, right? Hearing the cars to your left and your right in stereo makes a huge difference in playing. And I find that it lives up to that ability, where you can, the audio is so high fidelity on the Steam Deck that you don't have an issue just playing on the speakers and knowing what's left, what's right, what's forward, what's backwards. It's truly quite impressive.
Absolutely. Because that's a game that would certainly showcase it as Rocket League.
Yep, and the graphics are great. Like obviously the music sounds great. And it's free to play. So if you're not on Rocket League and you have a Steam Deck, what are you doing? Hop on there, play some casual matches. I know it's intimidating if you've never played the game before and you see people doing this crazy stuff, but to get decent enough to run and play casual 2v2, 3v3 doesn't take very long to get the hang of it.
No, and I mean, you talked about being favorable to a controller. This is very controller user friendly.
Big time.
On the Steam Deck.
But I feel like even if you're a mouse and keyboard purist, you will still get something out of it because you can.
Oh, yeah.
You can use the touchpad and you can map enough to where you get that keyboard feel.
Definitely. It's a great pick. A great pick for the Steam Deck. Great pick for the list.
And that's it, right? I think we need to get into a 3-shot.
That's the 10. We do. I skipped it for gaming and pickups, but since we're talking about the eShop and the Nintendo store and whatnot, I wanted to show you a couple things I got, Tyler.
Let's do it.
I got, first of all, a Nintendo Switch Sports cooling towel.
Oh, that's cool.
I haven't opened it yet, but these are with points, with the platinum points on the Nintendo store.
I need to go and take a look into those.
Yeah, man. I told you about there's a bunch of shit you can do on the websites for certain games and make 100 points like that, bro. Like you can go on right now and make 1,000 points and get you one of these items and maybe have enough leftover points for another. And you pay $7 shipping. This one you're going to like a lot. A Mario Strikers Battle League drawstring bag. Also not open, but look at this, bro.
Oh, dude, that's huge. That looks awesome.
It's huge. And then on the other side,
that's so much bigger than I was expecting.
Characters in action, bro.
Oh, that looks sick. I need to get that.
Isn't that awesome? Yeah, man. And I didn't take it out the tube yet, but we got this big, glorious Bravely Default 2 poster.
Oh, nice.
Which may or may not be in the background soon, but I want to get it framed. Point being, man, there's some cool shit to get on the My Nintendo store, and all you gotta do is pay $7 for shipping. The only thing I had gotten really physical, I think, was the WarioWare pin set. But
and the Mario posters.
And the 3D All-Stars posters we both got, actually.
Yeah, I have those. I'm actually hanging pictures this week for sure. Like, we have wedding pictures printed, so I'm going to have some more interesting stuff on my walls next time around.
I have all three of the 3D All-Stars posters, like, sitting right next to me framed. I just haven't put them up.
Yep, same.
But yeah, man, aside from the little show and tell special, we have a 3-shop, as expected. The first thing I wanted to put on it, we're going to be mentioning a few games here, but the big note, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity.
Interesting.
Been a while since I played this, but it's never left the rim of my mind. I love the game. I purchased the expansion pass. Haven't played it since I purchased it, but it's never too late, right?
Yep.
It's on sale for $41.99, down from $59.99. So that's 30% off until August 7th. That's pretty good, man. $41.99. Breath of the Wild 2 got pushed forward. A lot of time to play some Age of Calamity and get a little more familiar with the universe of Breath of the Wild. So this is a perfect sale. And you could also get the DLC bundle, $55.98. You get the expansion pass, game, everything cheaper than the list price of the game. So if you wanted to go all in, this is the time. Also till the 7th. Super Mario Party, same exact sale till the 7th, $41.99, down from $59.99.
It's a good deal.
Thought it'd be a fantastic addition to the list. I mean, when you start talking $40 for a Mario Party game, now we're talking.
Yep.
Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, a game that I should play much more of on the Switch.
I've played a good amount of it, but it's been a little while. We're
proud owners of the early adopter collector's edition. I went through that manual recently since the last podcast. It's a beautiful manual,
Definitely.
man.
Yeah.
They really did the most with that booklet. But that is also on sale. $25.99 down from $39.99. So 35% off.
That's a
until the
steal, man.
7th.
That's a lot of game for that price.
Yeah, and you can get the digital deluxe edition even cheaper, 40% off for $29.99. List price of the game digital, you can get the digital deluxe edition.
Yep.
Other than that, I had a couple of little mentions just to kind of add a little bonus. The Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl, I forgot how long that's on sale for, but it's on sale right now for $14.99.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's really funny.
That's hilarious.
Because
I have a feeling I know what the next one you're going to say is.
I don't think it's nothing funny. That was just a hilarious one. Oh, was it GTA though?
Yeah.
The GTA collection, not in my notes. I do remember. It was $20
has been
off.
on sale like constantly since it came out.
For $20 off.
Yeah.
Yep. You could easily cop that for like what, $30-$40 right now.
I think it's cheaper than that. I think it's like $24.99.
I don't think so. I think it's $29.99 because it's $20 off. But
yeah.
Anyway, I don't think it sold super well, Tyler.
A lot of mixed reviews when it came out. I think hurt it a lot.
Diablo 2 Resurrected was on sale. I didn't get the sale for it, but I just wanted to note that was on sale. I think it's like $22 or something right now. I'm interested in it. So,
awesome.
Also, Collection of Saga. I always talk about the Final Fantasy
I was
Legend
looking at
games.
that. All the Saga Mana games are on sale.
Yep. Saw that Collection of Saga is on sale for $13.99. Very, very tempting.
Yeah, definitely.
But that ends today, so better make a quick decision. I think that's the end of the podcast, though, Tyler, at least for this cycle.
Well, it's been a big one. This might be the longest one yet.
Yeah, well, not the longest yet, but I'll tell you what, we haven't really almost touched the 2-hour mark in a while.
Yeah. But if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or feedback, you can reach out to us at starroadpodcast@gmail.com. We also upload every podcast in full to YouTube, so make sure to like, comment, and subscribe our channel there. And I believe that brings us to the end. Sterling, do you have any closing thoughts?
We love the Steam Deck. That's really the only closing thought I have. This has been an episode I've been looking forward to doing for a while. And
definitely.
It had to be done under certain conditions, and those conditions were met.
Yep.
We both own a Steam Deck, and couldn't be happier about it, bro.
Absolutely.
Couldn't be happier to have been here today with you recording this.
Yeah, man.
Ending this episode with you. So thank you, everybody, for listening. Tune in next time. TNS out.
Peace.